Most beginning developers and land buyers waste weeks walking land they can't even build on. They get excited. They start imagining projects, all to find out at the very end, the deal was dead before they ever got started. So in this video, I want to share the exact steps that developers use in order to qualify land opportunities so you won't waste time or money or momentum on these projects. Let's get into it. What's up, everybody? It's Jamel Gibbs, your family-oriented entrepreneur. Welcome to this video. So if there's one thing that I want you to understand before we dive into this, is land deals don't forgive mistakes. You see, with houses, you can fix the problems, but with land, the rules are the rules. So before you ever step foot on a land, there's three things that you need to look into in this order. All right, so the first thing you want to do when it comes to land opportunities is check the zoning and land use, not the price. You don't care about how many acres is on the property. You don't care about how nice the property is. The zoning will decide if there's even a deal for you or not. So again, the first thing you want to check is the zoning and land use. Now, typically under these circumstances, the first thing I look at is the current zoning of the existing property. So let's say, for example, a property is zoned R5. In my area, R5 simply means I can build 5 residential properties on the plot of land that has the R5 zoning. Now, under certain circumstances, there can be other uses for that land, but we might have to rezone the property. And that's something that we can look into further if we're interested in purchasing that particular property. So we basically want to look at what's allowed on the land. We want to look at the density limits as well. And we want to look at the setbacks, the height, the minimum lot sizes, and so on and so forth. And to be honest with you, I'm not trusting the seller to provide me with this information. So typically what I'll do is I'll contact the planning and zoning department in the municipality where the land is located, and I'll find out directly from them. I'll also go ahead and do my own personal research. So I'll go ahead and pull a zoning map and I'll read the zoning code in the area. But 9 times out of 10, I'm contacting the planning and zoning department to find out more information about a particular piece of land. Let me show you an example of an email that I recently sent out to planning and zoning here in my local area and how they responded to me. Hey, before we dig deeper into the content, I just wanted to take a quick second to tell you about this platform that I've been using in my real estate investing business called Baselane. Now, Baselane allows you to take care of all of your real estate investing needs. So you can take care of property management, bookkeeping and analytics, and also business banking. Now, it's not a bank, it's a banking platform. So you can create multiple accounts in order to be able to operate your business how you want. Now, the one thing that I love about Baselane, the way that I use it to collect rents. But the reason I love it so much is because not only do I have a landlord dashboard, but my tenants have a renter's dashboard. So we can separate everything and make it easy all at the click of a button. And in order to get started, all you got to do is click the link either in the description or in the first comment below. Make sure you check it out. I think it'll benefit your real estate business long term. Now, I've done videos on Baselane, all on YouTube and all on other platforms as well. But I really think that this software will help you automate your business and at least remove the mundane stuff from your business so that you don't have to worry about it. It makes things a lot easier for you to operate on a day-to-day. Again, check the link in the description box. Check the first comment for the link as well. And again, I also want to give Baselane a shout out for sponsoring this video. Let's move back into the content. Let's go ahead and pull that up. All right, so here's an example of an email that I sent out to planning and zoning in my local area. Now, I'm going to cut off my email address, my phone number, my business name. I'm going to cut off the property address. This is all sensitive information that I don't want online. Plus, I'm actively working this deal, and I don't want to blow it up by putting out the information online like that. But I'm looking for some basic information in this email. And it basically says, "Hi, Lucas." That's the guy at Planning and Zoning. It says, "My name is Jamel Gibbs. I'm in an early feasibility stage on a property along this particular area in Greensboro. I was hoping to confirm a few high-level items before investing in engineering." So what I'm asking for are these simple things. It's the current zoning designation. I'm looking for residential uses permitted by right. I'm looking for base density under current zoning. I'm looking for whether townhome style or build to rent residential would generally be allowed without rezoning. And I'm also looking for any known overlays, any buffers, any corridor considerations that commonly affect sites in this particular area. And then I tell them what I'm not looking for. So I'm not looking for anything formal at this stage, just general guidance to inform next steps. And then I thanked him for his time. And then he responded to me within, so I sent this out at 12:10. He responded by 12:30 on that particular day. And he answered all of the questions that I had. So on this particular property, it was the current zoning designation is R5. And I knew that in advance, but I wanted to confirm the information, which is important. Even if you know the information, you still want to confirm it with the planning and zoning. And that's for safety reasons. This way you're not wasting time qualifying this deal and it's not even a deal. Because what if it says R5 or the seller tells you that it's R5 and it's not? Then you just wasted time on a deal that is probably not even going to work for you, right? So current zoning designation is R5. It says, please find the R5 permitted uses and dimensional standards attached. So they attached that information for me. It says residential uses permitted by right. It says, please find the R5 permitted uses and dimensional standards attached. Again, same as the first question that I asked, or the first answer rather. Base density under current zoning is single family dwellings at a max of 5 units per acre. So I can only fit 5 units per acre max under this zoning. Dimensions of the property may limit what can actually be built. Whether townhome style or build to rent residential would generally be allowed without rezoning. It says a rezoning is required for multifamily housing type. So I would have to go through the rezoning process, which can get relatively expensive, or if I wanted to put townhome properties on this particular plot of land. It says any known overlays and all of those other things that I asked for. It says none. So what he did say is I highly recommend scheduling a sketch plan. So he told me what the next steps should be under these circumstances based on this municipality. I highly recommend scheduling a sketch plan meeting with the technical review committee to see what site improvements and permits will be required for your proposed development. This will help determine how much will be involved in developing the property after the rezoning process is complete. He's included the guys that I needed to get in contact with in order to be able to get that set up. And he obviously CC'd them on the email as well. So that's just some basic information that I was able to get. I can confirm whether this is a deal that I want to move on with or not based on the information that I received from planning and zoning. And you see, it only took me 20 minutes for them to be able to do the work, for me to be able to get the information that I needed to decide on if I want to move forward on this deal or not. So if you had to take anything away from what we just talked about, what you want to remember is zoning is not about paperwork. It's permissions. The zoning is what's going to determine if you have yourself a deal or not. So the first thing you want to do is always contact the planning and zoning department to confirm the information, especially if you got it directly from the seller. Don't ever trust the seller with the information because they're going to tell you what you need to hear in order to get a property sold. You want to confirm this information by contacting planning and zoning and then taking it from there. Now, step 2 is access and utilities. And this is where a lot of land deals usually die. So what should you check to see if you should move forward on a property? Well, you can check legal access. You can check road frontage. You can check recorded easement. Make sure that the property is not landlocked. Landlocked basically means that there's no way on or off of the land without trespassing on somebody else's property. So is the land landlocked? Those types of properties are usually less valuable because you have to do a lot of paperwork in order to be able to get legal access to the property. Is the property on a private road? I've bought houses on private roads before. It was a complete nightmare trying to sell them on the other end. So you want to be mindful of that. I'm not saying that that is going to be the circumstances with you, but that has been my experiences. I stay away from properties that are on private roads. What's the water and sewer availability? Is it on septic? Is it on public water and sewer? Does the property already have existing utilities on it, like water and sewer and electric. That would obviously increase the value of the land. It would make it more feasible for you to do what you want to do. If it doesn't, you got to factor those costs in order to be able to get the job done. And here's the trap. Utilities nearby doesn't mean utilities available. Land is not cheap when you have to invent infrastructure. Always keep that in mind. Now, the third thing you want to check into is the environmental and physical constraints. So all that means is you're looking at the flood zones, you're looking at the wetlands and buffers, you're looking at the topography of the property and the soil conditions. Because at the end of the day, a 10-acre parcel doesn't necessarily mean you have 10 buildable acres of land. So one thing you want to remember is you don't buy acreage, you buy buildable land as a developer. And after you confirm all of this information that we just spoke about throughout this video, then you can go ahead and walk the land. Now, as a developer, when you walk the land, you don't walk it to see if you like the land. You walk it to verify what the data actually told you. So you pulled that information, you did all of that homework up front. You want to make sure that you verify the information that you have. So when you walk the land, you want to verify the drainage. You want to verify the clearing costs. So if there's a lot of trees on the property, how much is it going to cost for you to clear it? You want to verify neighbor uses and anything that doesn't match what's on the maps that you pulled initially. You want to take a look at all of that stuff. You want to take lots of pictures. You want to look at the road frontage, take pictures of how close the property is to the street. You want to make sure that you take pictures of the utilities, any slopes on the property, any potential flooding areas or water that's running through the property. You want to notice how close the property is to any existing railroads, things like that. So what you're looking to do is experience the land. You want to verify what the data could not tell you while you're on the property. You see, the computer, it saves you time when you're running the numbers and you're doing all the research on the property. But the land, walking the land, saves you surprises later on. And if you want help evaluating land or doing these types of deals, that's what Deal Pro Academy is for. Be sure to check the link in the description box or check the link in the first comment below. Now, before we wrap this up, I got a quick question for you. Do you want to know what the top 3 opportunities are once you actually have the land in order to be able to make money in today's market? If so, leave a comment in the comment section. I'm not going to put the video together if you're not interested. So leave a comment in the comment section. Let me know that you're interested, and I'll be sure to catch you guys on that one as well. Again, like this video, subscribe to the channel, click the notification bell. Hope you benefited from this information. I'll see you on the next one. Take care.